evening, traders from across the globe, and welcome to the 1268th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar Carboni. Traders, these educational videos are put out nightly to help teach you the art of technical analysis from someone who's been doing this for 33 years. Let me tell you, these videos are full of tips, tricks, and techniques that I personally learned down on the trading floors in this business for years, back in the day when we used to scream and yell. Remember those days? I learned down there. I'm here to teach this to you. Before we get into it tonight, futures trading can be extremely risky and is absolutely extremely risky, can cause substantial financial loss. And always place a stop, place it first, whether you hear they're going to work all the time or not. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Most times, they will save you from a really bad horror story. And in fact, for tonight, this video is being filmed on January 15th for trading on the 16th for Friday. That's 2015. So this video, Trading Friday, Jan 16th, 2015. Traders, right off the bat, always place stops first. That's going to be a segment in this video, and I will show you why. Before we get into everything on the board, let me just say, traders, if you are new to these videos, if you do not know the power of my OMNI, Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator, let me show you something. I was asked to come on television and give a crude oil projection. I went on the television, I went on the show, Fox Business News, gave them my projection based on some chart work and, of course, fundamental analysis to prove out the chart work. Mentioned my projection on television, and basically she thought I was a kind of a kook and threw me off the set. And, you know, when you invite somebody on to your set and they tell you crude's going to go from 100 to 40, I get it. Why wouldn't you throw them off the set? That's insane, right? So I get it. She thought it was a crazy call. Melissa, nothing wrong with you thinking I was crazy then. But the call actually took place exactly how I said it would happen, and I have a clip of that. So before we get into this video, humor me, traders, I just want to show you the interview that I did today on Fox Business Network to show you the power of my OMNI. Have a look.
The sudden drop in oil prices isn't a huge surprise to some. One guest predicted it right here on Money 2 years ago.
For perspective, in 1998, crude was only $9.91 a barrel. In 2001, crude was $14.59 a barrel. Then you move us out to 2009, crude was only $35 a barrel just in 2009. So that tells us at the rate we're moving, we should have crude oil back down under $40 a barrel by mid-2015.
I don't know about that. You had me until you said 40. Look who's right now. Joining me now, Oscar Carboni, president of OMNI Trading Academy. So, Oscar, I got to say I love you. You're like tweeting at me the last couple of days saying, I was on your show and I predicted this was going to happen. So I said that can't possibly be true. We went back and we looked at the tape, and of course we found it. You saw it. You said it was going under 40 by mid-2015. We're pretty darn close. When do you think we go under 40 here?
I think it will continue to move lower. I think you'll actually see the price of 30, 35, and then 30 might be a floor. And it appears that they will not stop pushing the price of crude down right now. As you know, I made that projection for you. I use technical analysis always when I start a projection. Everything starts there. In fact, I spend about 20 hours a day in a live chat room on a camera and microphone doing analysis every day. So I've got so many logged hours, more than anyone, and here's what I did. I found the technical picture, and then I always go out and look for a fundamental reason why to prove out my technical picture.
So a couple of years ago, what was your fundamental reason?
Well, what I did was I seen the price was going to come down on the chart, so I took the price of crude over 15 years, the price of the stock market, and the price of the dollar, crude relative to those two. And then I looked at how much crude production was being made, shale. I added it all together and extrapolated $40, which matched my technical projection, and then I came on the show to tell you about it.
I'm floored because I started covering crude oil in 2003, so I've seen it make this big sweep, and I'm surprised to see it back where it is. So you think it's going to go down somewhere near 30? Does it rebound again, or what happens in the long term?
Well, you know, once it starts pushing near 30, then all these shale plays that we have start to run into trouble. I think right now they can actually handle the price of crude. And you know how most companies are. If you start to trim the fat and get rid of all the limousine rides and the private jets, you can streamline down and afford to still operate at this price. I think once you start hitting 30, it starts to make a difference. And from what I can see, Saudi Arabia and OPEC is hoping to push it so low that we have to start slowing down on shale. What they're not thinking about is shale we don't sell to the world. We keep it here in our country, so we still won't need their importing. It's a great thing that's going on right now.
Interesting. All right, Oscar, you will see when your next prediction, if it comes true. Where do you think we're going to be at the end of this year? Let me get you one more prediction on the record. By the end of this year, end of 2015, what do you think?
Well, here's what I'm looking for is staying between 30 and 55 for the next year or so.
Okay. All right, we're gonna keep that on record. My hat is off to you, Oscar. Thank you for coming on. Good stuff.
Thank you for having me.
BlackBerry saying goodbye.
Okay, traders, so we're back, and let's get into this video. But how about that crude call? Go, Omni, go! All right, head down, nose to the grindstone, on to the next trade. That's what we're going to do. What's on the board? I left the pie graph on the board from last night's video just to remind you, traders, I'm telling you, don't fall in love with the downside. Yes, it's coming off, and we are in a lag, and Omni's been selling and selling, and you know I've been calling it for you. So downside, yes, we know is coming. How much of it? The big booming bull market is not over yet. Do not fall in love with the downside. Remember, having a few kisses, send it home in the morning, and then date it the next day, because we're not marrying this one, but we will trade the downside a little bit. So, remember what I showed you about this graph, and then we'll get rid of it. If the energy sector made up a portion, whatever it is, 27%, 22%, whatever number you want to put on it, if the energy sector of the entire stock market made up 27% or whatever that number is, and it caved in half, it has to come from somewhere. And that's all that's happening right now. The market is filling the void. So that's what I see. If it gets worse, we'll talk about that. For now, we're selling rallies, even the S&P. Let's finish the board. What is exciting? Gold, silver, and platinum. My goodness, wait till you see the charts. Very exciting, looking strong. More downside expected in the Dow. And always, always, always place stops first. I'm going to show you charts why right now. Traders, something popped up. I'm holding an Omni camp. It is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday training session live here in Las Vegas where I teach you how to come up with my same Omni trades. I teach you how to fish for yourselves so you do not need me to give you these recs every day. So if you would like a seat opened up, somebody from Europe cannot make it. I've got an open seat, one invitation only. This is a very intimate session. There are only 5 traders that are allowed to come to these Omni camps. There is an open seat. February 27th, 28th, March 1st, and 2nd. It's called Omni Camp. I will teach you my Omni. If you want to qualify for that open seat, I want you to come to livewithoscar.com, click the Omni Camp banner, fill out the application. I'll be more than happy to qualify you. Or you can give us a call, 702-629-4755. Traders, with no further ado, let's go look at some charts.
I was just surfing financial sites, and you know, it's just like the internet. You click on one link, takes you to another site, and it took me some YouTube videos, and I came across Oscar. Started following him there, then I got led to his website, and following that, I went to his chat room, and I was very impressed with his calls, and I had to know how he does it.
Well, I've come all the way from England for this course, and it's been very worthwhile. I would hop on a plane tomorrow. I come halfway around the world for this course because it's exactly what I needed, and I know that I will go away and become a very successful trader now.
I want to thank him. Yeah, he is a great man. He has big heart. To do all this, to teach all these techniques, all these tips, it's almost incredible. We all 4 were asking ourselves how it's possible to give to the public all these techniques and all these tips, all this knowledge. It's almost incredible.
The money is definitely not an issue. You get several fold what you put in. I don't understand how anybody can take Oscar's trades and not come to OmniCamp. It makes very little sense. You have to understand how these trades come about. You have to understand why the trades are taken. You have to understand why even the trade is thought of, how it came up, how it came about. And without OmniCamp, I don't really understand the usefulness of following Oscar's trades. He teaches you everything you need or everything you ask. There should be no questions. The only question should be, when is the next OmniCamp and when can you attend?
Okay, traders, the first chart I'm going to show you is the gold daily bar chart. I have been showing this chart to you for days on end. When the flag started, I showed you that it looked like it was finally going to become bullish. We were sellers for a long time in gold. It did the Omni very well and the OMNIX, but we started looking bullish in gold recently. So I showed you this chart. I said this is a bull flag. A bull flag means upside. This is where it was, and this is what happened since. My goodness, again, this is where it was, and this is what happened. My goodness, could there be anything better than technical analysis? Wow. So that's what's happened so far, and it's still bullish. Let's look at the next chart. A gold weekly bar. When I started showing you this, I said, look, when the market gets up to this red line, I put those umbrellas. Remember, I've showed you this in video after video. I said it hits the red line, it rains down, hits the red line, rains down, hits the red line, rains down, almost hits it, rains down, hits it, rains down, hits it, rains down only a little, comes right back up, gets above it. And I said, everybody, look here. That's interesting, right? So that's what it looked like when I presented it to you. And this is what we've gotten so far. That's what it was. And this is what happened. Now, this is a weekly chart, traders. Don't get this wrong. That's a big move on a weekly chart. So, once again, bravo for technical analysis. Let's move forward. So, you've seen some gold, and gold looks pretty bullish. This could be probably the best buy on the board if it decides to take off. Silver. Bull flag. I showed this to you in my last video. I said, look, silver's got a nice bull flag, and it broke out of it, right? Let's add something now to the chart and the bull flag. Bullish formation, chart possibly basing. Let's add something to it. Look at the OTAPMA. It's above it for a few days now. In fact, 3 days above OTAPMA, and that doesn't happen usually. Now, let's look a little further. Platinum. Out of nowhere. Platinum never comes near OTAPMA. This is Omni Trading Academy's proprietary moving average. Platinum got above it and is looking strong. And then this, we're going to add the OTAPMA onto the gold chart I've showed you. Look what happened once we got above it. So, are the rest of the metals going to explode? Well, I don't know, but if you get above my OTAPMA, usually there's some fireworks. So I have to call them bullish for now until they turn around. We're going to say silver and platinum look pretty good, as does the gold. Then there's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is the meat and potatoes, right, traders? We all want to know, what's the Dow going to do? Well, I've been showing you these charts and showing you day after day. I thought it was getting bearish, and I do not think this double bottom will hold. I showed that to you in yesterday's video. Well, this is what happened so far today. I say tomorrow, boom, we take out this double bottom. I don't think it'll hold. Now, will it hold? Well, if anybody knew, it would be the last trade they would ever have to put on for the rest of their lives. So we don't know for sure, but we anticipate, because of all the other analysis that we do, this double bottom will not hold. So that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's keep moving. Then you've got the Dow Jones Transportation Average. Traders, if you recall, when I started showing you this chart, none of these bars existed. I said, look, looks like a bear flag. Look at what happened. I mean, my goodness, down, down, down. And I don't think it's over. And I also showed you a chart yesterday and said, look, you think that's a triple bottom? I don't think so. I think it's like this. Pounded once, pounded a second time, pounded it a third time. It's going to go up a little, like I told you in last night's video. It would go up a little and then come down. Well, it did go up a little, and it came down, and tomorrow it should finish that off. What is happening is exactly what's expected technically. This is a technical move, traders. Why I can almost rest assured the top isn't in is because I'm able to call highs and lows with these charts in these videos for you before it happens. I'm using technical analysis, right? There's no panic in there. There's no washout in there. It's purely technical for now. If that changes, we shall see. Then there is this, the emini S&P. Traders, I put this before your eyes, and I actually got some resistance on my Facebook and my YouTube when I made this statement. I said, traders, you put in a low, fantastic, a high, right? Nice. A higher low, that's what should happen. A higher high, beautiful. And then I said, but we came down here, put in a higher low, great, that works out too. But then we came up and failed to put in a higher high. And on that day I said, this is troublesome for me. And I brought these videos to you and I brought these charts to you. And I said, I think now we start to come off a little bit. And this is what happened since the red circle. And we are starting to come off again right now live tonight. So this was good analysis. You guys on YouTube and Facebook, if you'd really like to learn how to get this right, you come on down to livewithoscar.com and allow me to teach it to you, because you were absolutely wrong for berating me for starting to call the downside on this day. I'll teach you how to get this right. I put my time in. I don't just make crazy statements. I use the charts before I speak. Anyway, traders, that's what I wanted to show you on this grouping of charts. And then there is this. One of the most important lessons I think anyone's ever going to learn. When I say put your stops in first, I want you to see why. A day like this happens all the time in markets. This is a true bar today in the Swiss franc. These are average days in the Swiss franc. This is today's bar in the Swiss franc. That is no joke. That is not a fluke, not a misprint. Now, this looks like a bear flag, and if you were like anybody else, you were shorting this bear flag down here. Everybody was. If you got short down here and did not place a stop, this is $31,000 per contract if you got short and did not get out. One lot. $31,000 today. If you were a 10-lot trader, do the math. Okay, why do you put stops in? Because if you put a stop in, you would have been knocked out above the flag and you would have been out of the trade, right? You wouldn't have lost $31,000 per contract. Why do you put stops in first? Imagine this. If you were to put your normal order in, you would have put a sell stop in, you would have put your buy stop in, you would have put your sell order in afterwards. You hope the sell order, the market goes up, hit your sell order, and never goes high enough to hit your stop, right? So you would have sold inside the flag, stop up here. Let's now say the second you place that order, you sold, you put the stop in first, you sold, the market takes off like it did, and you're selling, your stop get hit at the same moment, you're basically knocked out for the money you thought you were going to lose. That's what a normal trade does, right? Let's reverse that for a moment. Let's say you put your stop in first, and before you had a chance to sell anything, the news came out, the market would have exploded through your buy stop, and some of this 31 grand would have ended up in your pocket by accident. Why? Because you put your stop in first and the news came out before you had a chance to go short. So if you had put a stop in after you were short, you might have been in this whole move and killed. If you put your stop in first, you might have been in the move by accident and profited. That's why we put stops in first. But imagine having to go home, tell your husband or wife that you just lost $31,000 times each contract you had on today because you didn't have a stop in. Always place your stops first. That's a tip from Uncle Oscar, traders. Take it home, write it down, don't forget it. Okay, traders, thank you for sitting through the OmniCamp commercial. That's a little taste of it. If you'd like to join that, remember, Feb 27th through March 2nd. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I've got an open seat. Come to livewithoscar.com if you want to learn this craft. All right, traders, one other thing on the board I didn't bring out yet is Netflix. We are still short the stock Netflix for a couple of days. I'll bet you tomorrow we're going to be very happy once again with that. We'll see. And I'm looking at some other stocks as well. If it's not too volatile, we'll look at them. If it is too volatile for the opening, we're just going to stay with our Netflix. But come to Live with Oscar to the stock side and see what I'm working on. Traders, thank you so much for tuning in. Without you, I would be so bored every day. I'd be sitting in front of that computer alone, not knowing what to do. So thank you every day that you guys hang out with me, you guys, gals, in my trading room. Thank you so much. All right. Let me get out of here. Traders, remember, keep your emotions at art of trading, one of the best things you can do to help yourselves with that is say this to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, every evening, and you know what that is. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Rock and roll. Melissa Francis, thank you so much for inviting me, sweetheart. I really appreciated the invite. Thank you so much. Futures trading is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee that you will profit from the information provided.